All right, so I want to do a full rundown here of Quant app. What is it and why it's here? I built it for myself to trade 40x leverage. I'm a fully algorithmic trader and I don't believe in 40x leverage. I've spent the last 5 years showing how I've automated my systems and exactly how anybody could do this. I didn't go to school for this. I got held back in seventh grade. I'm not the the perfect quant or whatever you want to call it. I just had a problem. I was using emotions, trading with too much leverage, getting liquidated, trying to predict price as a human because it was 9:30 time to trade. And I just got smoked over and over and over again. So that led me to actually meet somebody who was an algorithmic trader. And that inspired me to automate my trading. That was about 5 years ago. And I showed everything on YouTube for free. Every single piece of code, every single project, the goods, the bads, the uglies. But after 5 years, I had this realization the other day. Since in the last year or so, I finally got liquidation data, or I can see everybody's positions here on Hyperliquid. So I see everybody's using 40x leverage. But after watching this for like a year, the end of 2025, I was like, damn, dude, there's 100,000 subscribers on my YouTube now, 50,000 plus people on Twitter. That's a lot of people. And I see how many people actually joined the boot camp over the past 5 years, and it's so tiny compared to the amount of people that are watching me code these bots. So I came to the realization, damn, nobody's actually taking my approach. And nobody's listening to the things I say you should do. You should automate your trading. You should remove your emotions. Yeah. Nobody's listening to that. Let's get to the bag. 40x leverage. That's what's happening. Right. So I might just be deeper in the evolution than the majority, and that's fine. I'm not better than anybody. I just have been trading longer and realized, damn, I just keep coming back to this casino using 40x leverage, staring at the charts all night, all weekend, dude. Come on, just up and down, up and down. Your P&L goes up, you think you're the man. Your P&L goes down, you think you're the worst. It's just not good for the human psyche. So that's why I stepped away from trading by hand, especially with huge leverage. But if everybody is using 40x leverage, everybody's using max leverage, everybody's trading by hand, and there's 150,000 people now interested in these videos, dude, like, okay, that means that I'm actually serving the minority. There's only a small percentage of people that will actually go out and learn how to code so they can automate their trading. And I have the numbers. I got the stats. And I'm a data dog. The data told me 5 years ago, stop trading, dude. Stop using so much leverage. I'm not going to stop trading because I see the vehicle. But I can approach it differently. So I took the automated approach. I showed everything on YouTube for free for the last 5 years. Sadly, everybody's still using 40x leverage. So instead of telling you what you should do, I'm jumping into the pool with you guys. I'm going back to the 40x leverage streets. It's scary. I'm scared right now. But if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it with bumpers. That's how I like to look at this. Go to the bowling alley, right?
In a business like this, just keep making things better. Keep improving the system. Because other parts of it are going to wear out after a while. People will catch on to this or they'll catch on to that. So you just have to, like in any business, you just have to make things better and better and better, because that's what everyone else is trying to do.
That's what everybody else is trying to do. That was Jim Simons. That's the guy I've been chasing for the last 5 years and shared everything along the way. But let's not talk about what you should do. Let's talk about what everybody's doing, using 40x leverage. Okay, if I'm going to play in this game, I'm going to use some of the quant skills and learnings I've had through backtesting, etc., building bots live in production. I've got experience now. It's not the most in the world, of course not. Jim Simons, you just heard from me. He ran up a bag of 31 billion. I've got a long ways to go. But there's some ideas I have for this time, coming back into the hand trading world. If I'm going to trade like a degen, I'm going to use bumpers. People will laugh at me because I'm at the bowling alley with bumpers, but it's okay. I'm just trying to figure out the biggest problem in crypto. And the biggest problem is, okay, you'll do this, you'll do that, you'll farm, you'll trade memes, you'll take some perp trades, but at the end of the day, you're going to end up using max leverage and liquidated, losing everything. That's the biggest problem in crypto right now. And if I'm showing how to automate your trading, there's a huge barrier to that. I've been assuming that everybody will just go learn how to code like Moondev did, but it's a big feat. So I'm just building my bumpers here, and that's the Quant app, just putting bumpers on my trading. So there's some things that it does. So first off, you've got the front and center board. This uses proprietary data. It's not proprietary, but it's very hard to get. You have to have a Hyperliquid node. I have a Hyperliquid node. I've launched the API. You can read about that node. It's at moondev.com/docs. moondev.com/docs. It has all of the data you could ever imagine from Hyperliquid directly. You can't get it faster anywhere else. You use the API, you're cooked. I already learned. I had to get everybody's positions. I wanted to see everybody's positions in the market. Because my thesis here is everybody that uses 40x leverage gets liquidated. So if everybody that uses 40x leverage gets liquidated, then if I'm going to use 40x leverage, I'm going to get liquidated. So instead of just trying to predict price, what I've been doing is just buying and selling people's liquidations. So instead of saying, hey, I think price is going to go up because X, Y, or Z, now I'm saying, hey, you smart guy over there thought price was going to go up. You thought price was going to go up when it was over here. You made $1 million bet price would go up here. Okay, let me take your bet, but let me take it once you get liquidated. So that's why I'm looking at everybody's positions. Now, there's all types of strategies you can run with this liquidation data. I can't tell you a strategy. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is plug and play. If you think that you can just download this app and make a bunch of money, you're going to get smoked. Absolutely. But I can tell you like what's in my brain and how I use this data. Again, this data is through my API, and I have a node running right here that I'm working on every single day, making it better and better. I'm making Hyperliquid's data layer because it's powering my app, Quant app. I'm trading like a degen again because everybody is using 40x leverage. It's kind of fun. It's very stressful though. So I have to have these bumpers. So instead of trying to predict price, if it's going to go up or down, I'm not doing that anymore. I just click here and say, hey, I want to buy his liquidation. I want to add to my position when he gets liquidated. And boom, boom, I add it. These are just pre-filled settings here you can play around with. I'll go through them later. But for now, I just want to explain this part because I think this right here is just a totally different approach than most people take. Most people predict price and they want to be right. I don't care about being right. I just want to live. I want to be able to live as long as possible here in this 40x land. I don't know about you, but when I used to be a 40x hand trader, I wouldn't last in the markets. My bag, whatever I threw at the thing, it wouldn't last more than 2 to 3 days max. And those 2 to 3 days, I was staring at the screen all day, neglecting friends, neglecting family, neglecting your pets, dude. Come on. It's an awful life staring at these charts, just trying to predict price. So I'm building an app that not only is going to help me enter when other people get liquidated, I can also enter when like 11 million get liquidated in 4 hours. I can set all that up in actions here. A bunch of actions here. You could say, hey, when there's long liquidations of 3 million, that's when I'll buy, because I know from past experience that I usually am wrong. So instead of buying a long right here, when I think it's time to trade, okay, yeah, it's 9:30, time to trade. Let me take a long right here. But instead of doing that, I'm still probably going to be wrong. I know I'm going to be wrong here, but at least if I take somebody else's long after they were forced to sell it, it's going to be a better entry. You could see this could be a win, could be a loss. So it's not going to make you automatically a profitable trader. It's just helping you make decisions better, essentially. So if you want to be short, well, I would rather take somebody short when they get liquidated. So if I wanted to be short, say here, I would actually click one of these big liquidations here and say, I want to be short when he gets liquidated. And then just schedule that. You can see I have a couple scheduled here. So I have a scheduled short and I have a scheduled long. it entered a position a little bit earlier, and it entered it at the bottom here, like around this area, because I had the thesis I will go long or short as long as it's a huge liquidation and somebody's giving up a position that they don't want to give up. Why? Because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, and I'm not going to pretend like I can predict price. I can't predict price. I have the proof. I have the proof, dude. I can't just sit here and predict price. That's what got me into automated trading. I just got smoked after smoked in my time. We all got into trading to get our time back, but then we all just stare at these screens all day. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. So now what I can do here is I could go ahead and say, hey, I have an open position that you grabbed for me. Great. Let me go ahead and close that position. And I could close it 100% when there are liquidations of 3 million in 10 minutes. So when there's 3 million in liquidations in 10 minutes, this position will automatically close. I can go live my life, dude. Get your time back. Let's get it. You can see there's been 0 short liquidations, 800K. These are hyper liquidations, hyper liquidated. This is all through hyperliquid, by the way. You can see things that are hard to do as a human. I don't know about you, dude, but me personally, will not follow rules like this. I could say, hey, I only want to have max 30% margin. If I ever go over 30% here, get me out of position. So if you have 100K balance, if you ever get a position that's over 30% of that, it's going to trim that position. And this has saved me so many times where it's just like, I'm a little tilted. I just want to get in a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger position. It says, nope, sorry, you're over your max. I usually have this set at 10%. I've just been updating this app lately and it made it change. So I keep it at 10% because that way I could live forever. The problem is with trading is you have one bad idea, one bad day, one sleepless night. You make one bad decision, you get liquidated forever. You're gone forever. So if you have a risk control in the cloud, you know that I could never go over, in this example, 30% margin. I could never go over 40x leverage. I mean, that's the cap, but that's the maximum here. And you could set this, like if I wasn't trying to emulate what everybody's doing, I would keep this at like 10% or 10x leverage and say, hey, auto close if it's over 10x, because that means I'm a little tilted. I'm outside of what I want to trade. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just thinking about all of the things I've learned in the gap of from where I was in the past when I was a hand trader using too much leverage and getting absolutely smoked. Everything from that point on to 5 years of automated trading, everything that I can think of to put bumpers around my 40x trading, I'm doing, because I don't believe in 40x trading. I don't think people can be profitable for the long term with 40x trading. And if I am profitable over the long term, then I've built a killer app for the number one product in crypto. The number one product in crypto is 40x or max leverage, whatever max is on the exchange you're using. On Hyperliquid, it's 40x on BTC. Now, there are 3 weeks of results on my Twitter, but dude, don't hold my results too tightly. These results aren't something that you can just plug and play and get.
Right? You just decide.
But they're all here.
What it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to
Moondev on YouTube.
decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way. It's like it's water. It wants to move and go around stuff, you know.
And then you can also have a max drawdown. So say like if I ever hit a drawdown, and this is usually like 3% for me, and these settings got updated. But if I hit a 3% drawdown on my full account in a day, get me out of there. Don't let me trade anymore, because I'm trying to live 1,000 days. And remember, that's the problem, is most people die in one day as traders. And it's just like one awful bad day that they lost all of their money and they were actually a solid trader before, but they got on tilt one time. So all of these things I'm building into the Quant app are about risk. They're about risk because it's about living for the next 1,000 trades. And I have the proof of that because I spent the last 5 years trading in production. And I know it's not about one trade. But if you're a hand trader, you lose all of your money on one trade. One big liquidation. That happens. I know you're probably a responsible trader. You follow your rules, yada, yada. I get it. But I'm not betting on myself over 1,000 trades to never use more margin than I'm supposed to never disrespect my max drawdown for the day. These things are built in to the Quant app. And another huge thing that's helped me so many times so far. Again, I'm only on this is my 4th week, but this 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or whatever your 8 hours a day schedule is, it won't let me enter positions outside of the range that I select. And I think that's amazing for your life, but also amazing for your bank account. Now, again, this is not financial advice. You're not going to go ahead and get results that I get just by downloading an app. If you think you're going to download an app and just get a bunch of results, you're not. This is leaning into the biggest pushback I always got. When I was telling people to automate their trading, you should automate your trading. They're like, nah, I'm not going to automate my trading because there's intuition to the markets. So instead of me being arrogant and thinking my way is the best way, automated trading is the best way, I'm leaning in now. So I spent 5 years. I gave you all of the information you need to know about automated trading. I gave you the courses. I gave you everything. I see how small of a percentage are actually going to go ahead and learn to code and automate their trading. So I'm ignoring 99% of people. This next couple of years, I'm going to build it all into the Quant app. All the ideas I have, I'm going to try to figure out 40x leverage trading. I don't have a high belief in this. I think I'm going to blow up. But if I don't, then damn, this app is fire. So you could check out all of the risk section here. I think this is probably the most important part. It gets good. I've been able to get good entries with it. But again, that takes intuition because if I would have bought liquidations too early, I'd be down. Last night, for example, if I zoom in here, it took intuition to profit here because it purchased or it shorted right here. Great entry on the short, but it took intuition to close down here. So this is not a plug and play. Nobody's ever going to give you a plug and play anything. As an algorithmic trader, I can tell you that like none of my friends that are algo traders give me anything. So you think somebody on YouTube is just going to give you a plug and play bot? No way. But that's why that whole me telling you should automate your trading thing, that's why I cooked it, dude. I stopped. I'm not pitching you on that anymore. I don't care if you automate your trading. I don't care. I was just showing you guys for the last 5 years exactly how to do that. But I was wrong there to say you should do that. That's me saying you should go spend 6 months of your life heads down 4 hours a day learning how to code when coding is not interesting at all to you. You know? So that was my bad. I'm a data dog. The data has led me to, hey, everybody's using 40x leverage. Okay, great. Let me go back into the trenches with them and see if I can figure it out. Anyways, you can see some of the actions here. We'll go over those last. You can put your notes in. I think this is a pretty chill feature. I had some good notes. I just write my notes, whatever my trade plan is. I like that. It's nice. And I think in the future, I'll probably put like a AI, something like look at my notes, review my notes. I don't know. There's a lot of good ideas. Feel free to jump in the Discord and post your ideas or bugs or really anything in the public Quant app section here. You can see Quant app in the Discord and just post whatever you have, you know, as this is an early beta. There are going to be bugs. Absolutely. You can see all the liquidations in the last 10 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours. This is interesting data. I can't tell you the strategy to trade it. I'm not a financial advisor. You can see all the liquidations coming through. We have every single hyperliquid user that is trading any sort of size. I'm watching all of them. So you can see them all come through and see exactly what they're trading. You can see XYZ, MSTR, XMR, TIA, Jupe, ETH. These are their real liquidations, dude. It's amazing. And then you can pull it up here and get even deeper into their files here, into their accounts. And you can do the same thing here. You can name people and you can pull them up. You can see analyzing wallet here. I get to see their actual wallet activity, see what their trades are. Again, this is just data. It's just data and bumpers around your trading. So if you have rules that you want to implement, these are my rules, not your rules, right? So if you don't have a max drawdown per day, okay, well, change that. If you want a bigger, longer session here, you want a different time zone, that's fine. That's fine. You can change all of it. This is just me taking my learnings from the past few years as a quant and implementing it into a app, because at the end of the day, if everybody watching is still using 40x leverage trading by hand, I got to help my brothers and sisters out there. That's, if I have a better way of trading, I have to put it out there. Anyways, let's go ahead and see if this works. I don't know if it'll work for me forever. Again, 40x leverage is sketch. What are other things can we do here? Actions. You can enter and exit. You can play around with these, but I just entered, or I just put a close here on liquidations. Means when there's an amount of short liquidations, 3 million. You saw me put that in. Close at licks is interesting. I could say close when shorts get liquidated. So I could say one of these guys, essentially. I get to pick one. You can see their numbers are here, 91599. So I could say, hey, when he gets liquidated, or the price essentially gets there, let me go ahead and close. This is very interesting as well. The ticks here. So hand traders, you're spending 3 times as much on every single trade that you make because you're using market orders a lot of the time. So that's like going to the Apple store and buying an iPhone for $3,000 when it's $1,000, just because you can't wait. But it's just how these markets speed you up. They speed you up, dude, and they get you trading more. The more you trade, the less you have. So this buys on the first tick, or you could say, hey, the 15th tick. If you go to the 15th tick, that effectively makes your trades free. There's no fees if you do the math behind that. But I'm in a position right now, so I've got the close settings here. I could close immediately if I just wanted to. I just deselect some of this stuff and close 100% at tick 1 or tick 15 or whatever. And I could close 50%. And this I've found to be very helpful when you're adding. I add like 0.1%, 0.5%, 1%. Honestly, most of my losses have come from me adding or opening a position by myself. So again, I can't give you a strategy. I can't tell you how to trade. I'm not a financial advisor. You're assuming all risk. This might not even work. It might not even execute the trade. This is early beta. So make sure to have your computer wide open and ready to override anything. Use tiny size. If you are going to use this app, use a brand new wallet. You have to put your private key in here. Use a brand new wallet. Do not use a wallet that has connection to a lot of money. I'm just trying to give you best practices. I'm not malicious, but this is just best practices in general. Just be careful with your private keys. Some other things you can do here. What else? Like, I like using these small amounts because then usually what happens is I'm wrong. So if I'm using small amounts, I can at least, okay, my first entry, I like to have all my entries be triggered by some sort of liquidation, something, but I can't tell you how. I can't tell you how to trade because literally you can use liquidations in multiple ways. You could use it in the way where like, okay, there's some liquidations that are long liquidations up here. That means that the price is going to keep going down and there's going to be a cascade. You could be right. You could be right. But in the same thought is, oh, well, there's a bunch of liquidations here. Maybe it's time to buy the reversal. So just like trading, this all comes down to your ideas, your strategies.
2 to 4.
I'm just looking at this data.
And again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4. Right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger. And by year 5 or 6, doesn't matter what kind of work they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up.
They're never going to catch up, dude. So what else can you do here? You can explore this yourself, and there's little I buttons that tell you, but there's either, if you're in a position, you have two options, add or close. If you're not in a position, you can open a position and you can schedule positions. Again, like I don't love the manual part of this, but if it is going to be manual, hey, I'm buying on the 15th tick, because remember, you can buy on market as a hand trader. You can't even buy market order. You can't even do market orders with the Quant app. So just right there, using the app, you save 66% on every single trade. And you don't have to sit there and try to get in and out. And yeah, I love it so far. But again, this is so early, and I'll probably end up blowing up still because I don't believe in 40x leverage. So use it at your own risk. Let's see if there's anything else here. You can explore a little bit. You can see you can name wallets. So these are real wallets that are going to be stored on your Quant app. So you can see this guy had $90 million. And I've seen some really crazy patterns by looking at how he trades. And he's kind of been moving the market lately. But is that going to happen forever? Absolutely not. There's going to be new patterns that emerge, and I can't tell you what pattern works. All I can give you is these bumpers. These are like bumpers. If you're using the Quant app, you're renting some bumpers that might break. So make sure to keep your exchange open. Use a new account. You could see it shows your entry price, your size, your margin. This is the important thing to me. Like, this is how much money that's coming out of my pocket, my margin, because I know I'm using 40x leverage here. You can have actions here where you say, hey, I only want to trade smaller leverage. I would highly recommend, if you're new to trading, don't use leverage. And if you're going to use leverage, change it to like 2x leverage or something, and don't let yourself go over it. So this is a rule that I wanted to use, but I kind of am forced into using 40x leverage because that is the number one product right now in crypto. So if I was being more responsible, I would be using like 4x leverage, and I would put a cap on here to make sure I never went over 10, because that would mean I was fully tilted. You can see this log here. It's not the best yet, but I'm going to keep working on it. I just have it show the actions it's taken, like buy, close, sell, sell for short. It's got a ways to go, I'd say, the log, but it's something, and it helps you figure out what happened if you're like away from the computer. The way I like to use this, I think this is the killer feature, is the scheduled things. The scheduled, whether it's on somebody's liquidation or, yeah, my favorite, just to tell you my favorite, I can't give you financial advice again. And if you do use this app, you're assuming all risks, and it might break halfway through. So make sure to keep your eyes on it. But my favorite feature is just clicking one of these. If I want to be short, okay, I'm not going short until one of these big guys gets liquidated. So I just click that and I do that. If I want to be long, okay, well, I know in the past I've been wrong so often that I'm not going to bet on myself here. So I'm just going to click that, and you can see it goes to the open at licks feature. So this is my favorite feature so far, but I'm curious to hear from you. Like, which one do you like the best? How do you use this app? Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you financial advice. I can't tell you how to trade. I don't know. There's nothing that I can just be like, boom, do this, run this. There's no download. You can't just download and be profitable overnight. This is hard work. There's intuition to this for sure. It's just a different look at the market than most people take. And that's kind of the full overview here. See positions, actions, play around with those, scheduled, risk, set up your risk settings to be much tighter than this, please. I'm going to switch this to 10%. I'm just in a trade, so it's locked. And the reason, that's like another feature, right? Because for me, it's like, okay, I can have these things monitoring my risk, but I'll always just turn them off. So I have a lock here that I can't turn it off. What else? Yeah, that's about it. So let me know if you have any questions inside the Discord, in the Discord chat, and I will keep updating and making more and more videos to give you full overviews. And I will rely on your questions for those next videos. So even if you're not used to chatting in Discords, yada, yada, please do step out of your zone a little bit, break out your shell, and put the questions you truly have, because I have a, I'm here making stream. I'm on stream all the time, and it's super easy to keep this iteration between you and I very, very fast because some of you even come to the private Zooms that happen each day. So if you think about it, I will not only give you this app, but I will sit here and help you understand it as long as you just ask those questions that you truly have. It's a lot. It's going to take some time to understand, but I would focus on just taking in the data. There's no rush to become a trader. You don't need, if you're not a trader, do not download this app. First off, it is on Hyperliquid, um, only on Hyperliquid for now. But just remember, the markets are never going anywhere. And please do not risk more money than you have that you can lose. Because if you are trading, the worst case scenario, which happens to 90% of people, is they lose all the money they put in. So knowing that, no offense, but you nor or I are in that 10%, we're not gonna just come on, let the ego die, right? It's hard, it's a hard pill to swallow. Hey, we're not better than other people when it comes to trading. You can't just work harder at trading, and you can't just trade more and be more profitable. Once you realize that, then approaching the market in a different way, looking at, hey, you had a good idea. You wanted to be long. Well, I want to be long right now, but I'm not going to be long until you have to give up your long. Or I want to be short right now, but I'm not going to get short until you give up your short. Is that a better approach to the market? I don't know, and I can't tell you that. So, download this at your own risk. Please do ask any questions you have. Much love to you. I'll be in the Discord answering every question. Bye. All right. So when you're jumping into the app for the first time, you're going to see this risk control setup here. These settings apply immediately. Positions outside your risk controls will be closed when you click start. So be careful with this. Look at your account right now. Hopefully you're using a new fresh account just for safety purposes. But if you're not, make sure that all your positions are closed. This will probably overtake it. It's how it's built. So I always recommend a fresh account. But anyways, these are risk controls. Let me talk about them a bit and then show you the section. So every time you restart the app, this is the first thing you see. And I think I put that there because it's your most important thing, right? Risk, controlling risk. So you can see I'm actually not even controlling my stop loss here. I have a 50% stop loss and take profit. Now, a responsible trader, you all have to decide on your strategy. But whatever your strategy is, you could say 20, 60, whatever it may be. But this is, I can't give strategies or ideas. I can just give you the tools. Stop loss, take profit, that can be across your account. And every time you're in a position, it will always look at that. Max leverage here. Now, a responsible trader, I would probably put this at 10 max leverage. And if I went higher than that, then it would take me out. Max margin, this is probably my favorite. These two are my favorite two features of risk control because, you see my stop loss is 50%. So that's pretty much liquidation on Hyperliquid because they start liquidating you at 50%. So I'm not really controlling my risk here with the stop loss and take profit, but that's my approach. I don't know your approach, nor can I say my approach is good. I'm controlling risk with my max margin and daily stop loss, daily max loss. So this is how much percentage down my total account has gone in the day. If it ever goes down 3%, I'm done trading for the whole day and it takes me out. And then the max margin, if it ever sees a position get over the 10%, so in this case, if there's $100,000 in the account, 10%, it won't allow you to get in a margin position over 10,000. Now, I said these are my favorite because one of my problems as a hand trader in the past is staring at the chart all day, getting a losing position, just adding. And then all of a sudden you're like in a huge position only to watch it for another 12 hours to get liquidated. So my thought premise is, hey, every piece of data I've seen over the last 5 years with backtesting and forward testing and building and production shows me it's not about one trade. So if I ever go ahead and try to trade, go all in, it just takes me out. It just adjusts my position. And I really like how this has been working. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Essentially, a couple times I've gone over on my position and, like, say it went to 12,000 and it trimmed it down to 10,000. Still let me in the position, but trimmed it down. And as a hand trader, it's just so easy to keep doubling down, keep doubling down, keep doubling down. But I've never seen a trading bot that is just one trade that made everything. It just doesn't work that way. It's about 1,000 trades. And if I'm gonna trade by hand, which I don't really believe it, just is what it is. Everybody's doing that. So I'm trying to fix this problem. I'm definitely going to control my risk. And I'm gonna try to emulate what I know a working bot system would be. It would be thousands of trades over time with patience. So for me to live for 1,000 trades, I have to control my max margin and my max daily loss. Now, another feature I absolutely love is this trading hours. I can't manually enter by hand. The app doesn't allow you outside of your trading hours. So you can pick your trading hours, an 8-hour window, and it doesn't let you enter by hand in that 8-hour window. Now you'll see later the ways to enter. You can enter by scheduling around liquidations. You can enter that way, so you can still schedule if you're just really fiending to trade. But that scheduled trade, ideally, would be better than just smashing the market order. And it's provably better than smashing the market order every time, because Quant app only lets you enter at limit. Anyways, this is what you see when you set up the risk control or when you open the app, because risk is the number one thing. Start monitoring. Great. So I do have an active position here, and you can see under risk control, we have this section that you can see the same things and change them however you'd like to be. So the take profit, stop loss, you saw all that on the intro, but this is where you also access those risks and you can change them. But something neat is you can't over change them, and you can't change them while in position. So I can't sit here and be like, oh, I want to keep trading, but I've hit my max margin. I want to increase it. For me, I would just override things like that. So I'm just building these things in to help me put kind of bumpers onto my trading. If I am going to approach these markets like everybody else is doing with the 40x leverage, I'm going to use bumpers. So I love this within hours. I love these features here. And then I added this recently, always on top. You can turn it off if you'd like, but when it's off, you can kind of hide behind it. And when it's on, it never gets hidden.
And now you got at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4. Right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. And by year 5 or 6, doesn't matter what kind of work they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up.
They're never going to catch up, dude. Control your risk. Be able to trade longer than them. You'll find more ideas. Don't overtrade. Overtrading kills you. Look at the fees on the website. Go to moondev.com/calculators and see how overtrading just chops you up, especially with market orders. The more you trade, the less you have, and you can do these calculations. If you trade 7 times a day with a $25,000 account size with 40x leverage, 23 days until you die just based off of fees. So I built the Quant app to help me slow down, trade less. If I want to be long, let me outsource that idea to somebody else who is already long, and I'll take their long when they lose all their money. If I want to overtrade, I can't, because it's outside of my window. I can't trade after 4 p.m. and stay up all night looking at the charts. I can't do that. Sure, I can schedule some liquidations, buys and sells, but that's a better approach in my opinion. Now, you assume all risk if you're going to continue to use this. It's not a strategy. It's not a plug and play bot. There is a ton of intuition. I'm just getting you connected to the hyperliquid data layer so you can have this data that nobody else has. Nobody else can see everybody else's positions. This wasn't even a thing more than 2 years ago, which is crazy. You can go ahead and go to moondev.com/docs as well to check out the docs, because the thing that powers this is Hyperliquid's data layer, and that API that you plugged in gets you access to this entire data layer. This is finance. This is some crazy finance data that just wasn't available before. You get to see all the smart money. You get to see all the trades, every tick, order flow. You get to see HLP's entire position. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. So yes, I wanted to make this short video of the risk section. You know this now. And to go along with the risk section, you have a log. It is a still work in progress, as is this whole app, but this does somewhat of a good job of tracking you when you entered or exited. So if you do come back to the app and wonder, like, did this execute or not, it should be in the log, but that's a work in progress. And then lastly, you have the note sheet. I found this pretty interesting to add my notes, like maybe my like pre-market plan, during market, things where I messed up, etc., etc. But go ahead and put your notes in there however you want. This is all just on your computer, as with everything on this app, and it should save automatically. It's been saving for me at least. But that's it. That's the risk section, that's the logs, and that's the notes. So if you have any questions, let me know in the Discord and I can make specific videos. Thank you. In this video, I want to help you understand the longs near lick and shorts near lick. This means longs near liquidation and shorts near liquidation. So we have access to the node through the API. You can read about the API at moondev.com/docs. Your API key that is powering the Quant app powers those API calls as well. There's some really neat stuff in there. But I want to go over the longs near lick and the shorts near lick section. What is it? How to use it? And yeah, so you can see here, these are the positions on Hyperliquid currently that are near liquidation. So you can see this BTC right here. He's 0.4% away from being liquidated. At the price of 99.09, if we go over here, that's about down here, he will be liquidated. And you can see Ethereum, there's somebody that will be liquidated. Then you can dive deeper into this and click into it and learn a bit more about their position, their fills, etc. here on this little website. Pretty cool. I can see their fills. I watch this constantly for traders I'm watching. Speaking of traders you're watching, you can see this guy, it says had 90M instead of his just address. That's because if you click on any of these, you can change the name. Change name, and you can track people, which is really cool because you'll start to see patterns. Now, I can't tell you patterns. I can't tell you what to trade or how to trade. I'm not a financial advisor, but I built these features in because I thought it would be very useful to start seeing the patterns of these whales. So far, so good. You can add notes to them if you want to talk some smack about them here, put them in the notes. You can also click this alert button and it will alert you every time they trade. So anytime this guy it says had 90M, anytime he trades, I get an alert up here. You'll probably see it throughout this time. So you can click on the name, change the name. You can click on the middle part here to change to get the deeper info. And then you can click on their liquidation level to set up a close or open on liquidations. Now I'm in a position right now, so it would be a close, but you can go ahead and close at licks. So at short licks here, I could pick his liquidation. This should be automated here, at least on the entry. When you click this number, it will go ahead and fill it out. You can see schedule short at that tick. So it's pretty useful. Again, this is a really, really early beta. So there's going to be bugs. There's going to be things that need to be ironed out. So please do let us know in the Discord. But yeah, these are the positions that are closest to being liquidated. And I find this a very interesting piece of data to look at, opposed to just trying to predict price. Me personally, I can't predict price. So instead, I'm just trading around these liquidations. There's this feature where you could say, hey, I only want to see BTC liquidations. Okay, that's probably pretty useful, right? because if the Quant app currently only supports BTC, I kind of want to see BTC liquidations. But in my mind, I actually want to see everybody's liquidations, because I've seen times where the market makers, they're hunting a Ethereum liquidation that's a couple $1,000,000. This will change. I can't tell you how to look at the data. I can just tell you these are the top 50, and they update faster than anywhere else. You can't get access to this data anywhere else this fast. You can try to build it on Hyperliquid API, and it's going to be 20 times slower. That's it. We got direct access. And that API key you have that powers Quant app, it also has direct access to Hyperliquid's data layer. So use that key. Check out the moondev.com/docs. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of this longs near lick section and with this shorts near lick section. You can see your saved traders, the ones that you make a name for, you can see them here. And then you can track them over time. You can write notes as well. This guy's called Hype Bull Notes. So this is pretty neat. Being able to track whales over time and analyze their patterns has been helpful for me. Can't tell you how to trade, but I can give you the data that I'm looking at. And then here on the right side, this is tracking how many liquidations on Hyperliquid per 10 minutes, per 1 hour, per 4 hours, per 12 hours, per 24 hours. Now everybody's going to trade this differently. That's why markets are markets. They work, right? Somebody's always willing to buy, somebody's always willing to sell. So you could make a case to trade these liquidations either way. So I can't tell you how to trade this. I can just give you the data that I do have. This breakdown here, you see some liquidations. One person could say, yeah, I want to short this because it's going to keep going down. They could be right. In this instance, they were. But what if they did it down here? They weren't. So I don't know how to use the liquidation data. I think it's interesting data to look at. I've got my ways, but I'm not a financial advisor, and I can't spread strategies or anything like that. But that's an overview of how I use the Hyperliquid node direct layer. It's a Hyperliquid data layer. You have the key for it. You can go to moondev.com/docs and understand the power that you have right now with that key. And if you don't have an API key, come to one of the private streams and I might drop one. I want to share it with the community, the people on the inside. If you have any questions, let me know inside of the Discord. But this was a short overview of the longs near lick and shorts near lick and the Hyperliquidated. I'm excited to see what you build. All right, so I wanted to go over the actions tab and the positions tab. If you don't have a position, this is going to say no position. So it's going to be really nothing. I'm in a position here, so you can see my action button here. This is kind of like the unified do something button, usually buy, sell, or more preferably schedule. Again, I've only been using this for 4 weeks as well. So this is early, but so far schedules have done better than me trying to decide. And kind of makes sense, right? If I don't believe in 40x trading because I don't believe I can predict price in the short term, and I've seen it over and over again. I've been liquidated by hand years back. That sent me to become an automated trader. I actually locked in and had to learn how to code 6 months. It was hard. I see everybody still using 40x leverage, and that makes sense. I was there too. So if I can't trade by hand, then why would buying and selling using these buttons do much better? Well, there's actually a couple of rules built in that are fairly nice. So for example, I've built in rules where if we're in the middle of a range, it's not going to let you enter. So you can go override it, do whatever you want to do. I'm just building in things that are working for me. But if we're in the middle of a range, let's see if it lets me enter now. I think I'm in a short. Okay. So let's see if it lets me enter. Maybe this will be a good example. I'll put it on, I would pick the 10th tick, 15th tick. But when I click add to short, I put 0.1%. And I think this is very interesting part of the actions tab. If you have nothing selected here, it's just going to say add to short, or it's going to say buy. I'm in a position, so it's adding. But I think this is alpha as well. I can't tell you how to trade, but I do know from my past experience, I'm usually wrong. So starting with small positions, 0.1%, and that's of my total account, 0.5% maybe. Since I'm usually wrong, again, starting small and kind of forcing yourself to scale in. For me, that's done really well. It's helped a lot. Now, the ticks, this is the margin part. So 0.1%, you could put it in dollars or you just a percentage, but you can see this is how much margin. And then it's multiplied by the leverage that we're using. I wouldn't suggest ever to use 40x leverage, but everybody's doing that. So I have mine at 40x. But it shows you the total position size versus how much you have to put in. It's your margin times 40x. Then you got ticks here. Ticks, this is interesting because if you're trading by hand, you're going to end up using market orders more often. Hopefully you don't use market orders that often, but you do more often than a bot would. A bot that says never use market orders will never use market orders. Quant app does not allow for market orders. And why is that so great? Because if you use market orders, you can blow up your entire account in just
We must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving.
It's so important to not use market orders because you're paying 3x. It's like paying $3,000 instead of $1,000 for something. Go to moondev.com/fees. You can see if this guy would have used limit orders or a bot, he could have saved almost $200,000. If this guy would have used a bot like this, he could have saved $116,000. If this guy would have used an entry, an app, a bot, whatever, he would have saved so much money because he would have used limit orders. And there's actually another page here that you can check out. Check out the calculators here, because what I was saying is some traders are not that bad at trading and they still lose money. Because look, if you have a $25,000 account size here and your leverage is 40x, if you trade 5 times per day, you only have 31 days until you lose just from fees. And that's not talking losing trades. But here's the comparison. So that's 31 days. If you have 25,000 account size, you use 40x leverage, 5 trades a day, just from fees, you'll lose your entire account in 31 days. That's wild. But if you used a bot or an app, something that only did limit orders and slowed down, didn't take as many trades, you can extend your life to 717 days. So just right there, we're not even talking about trading, the intuition behind trading. You know, everybody, when I said automate your trading, they said there's intuition behind trading. Okay, I'll accept that. I'll accept that, and let's try it with the 40x leverage thing, but I'm not going to trade the same way I traded in the past, which was predicting price. No, I'm going to trade around liquidations. Why? Because somebody smarter than me just bet their life savings on something. I'm not good at predicting price, so let me take their bet after they lose it. Now you're kind of becoming the house, right? Because now you're taking people's bets. Instead of being the one going up to the casino, being like, oh, I want to bet, you know, Jacksonville is going to win tonight. Yeah, I want to bet that. No, get on the other side and take the bets. Okay. Well, sorry, sir. You bet your life savings that it was going to go up. I would love to be long too, but I'm not getting long until you lose all your money. I don't know if that makes sense, and it may take some time, and I can't give financial advice or tell you how to trade, but this is just, I'm building this around my ideas. So Quant app, you know, if you use this, you're taking all risk. Things might be broken. Please keep your exchange open, be able to override everything. Yeah, you take full responsibility of using this, but just say trading on a different tick will save you so much money. Extends your life from 31 days to 717 days. Go ahead and explore this calculator, moondev.com/calculators. I think it's very important to understand this concept. Anyways, any trader that is using the Quant app automatically is saving 66% every time they enter and every time they exit. That's insane. But the activity tab has all of your different options here. I can say, hey, when somebody gets liquidated on their licks, let me add. Okay, so if I'm in a short, I'm going to wait for a short of 2 million in liquidations in the last 10 minutes. Now, this correlates to this here up top. And I showed you how to use this in a previous video, the liquidations. You can see in the last 10 minutes, there hasn't been any long liquidations, but I'm looking for short liquidations. 10 minutes, 1 hour. This is straight from the Hyperliquid node, and you can't get it faster anywhere else. This is like 10 seconds ahead of the fastest thing that I found, which is wild to me. But that's what happens when you get direct access. So that API key that you have, moondev.com/docs. Go ahead and play around with that as well. You can see I can enter on long liquidations if I want. I'm in a position though, so I can't tell you which way is good for you or how to trade this because I can't give you strategies. I can't give you financial advice. Just giving you this app that I built for my trading. And it's not a plug and play by any means. You can see there are so many points of intuition. I can literally stare at these liquidations and make a case for long and short at any second of the day. But that's why trading works, is because every second there's somebody that says, oh, it's going down, and somebody else is saying it's going up. So there's no plug and play bots or anything, apps or anything. You know, I've preached this for 5 years. Like, I'll show you guys how to automate your trading, sure. But there's nothing plug and play. You're not going to just join a boot camp or a course and just make $1 million overnight. You look around, you got 100,000 people coming in and out throughout the year. If I told 100,000 people there's $1 million in this certain GPS coordinate, how long would that $1 million be there? So you do take full responsibility, all risk here, as this is your trading, just kind of putting bumpers around it. You can see here, open at licks as well. So I can open at a specific liquidation. So I could say, hey, I want to open when a buy on long licks. I want to buy on long licks or buy on short licks of one of these guys that got liquidated, which is pretty cool. So you can see how this is all starting to connect together, right? You've got your positions tab. It will show your position if you are in position. If you're not in position, there's nothing really there. You got your actions tab where you can enter sometimes, but sometimes it will block you. And let's see here. Let's see if I can try to get that going. Say add to short. Okay. Verify and enter. It's not going to block me, unfortunately. I could add to this short. Let's see what happens if I try to close 10%. Okay, so you'll get warnings like this. Now, this is a nice warning. It says this is a close warning. Hey, you're in a 2-hour range. So it goes and it looks at the data for the last 2 hours, something we should do, but as hand traders, you're kind of just in a panic at all times. You're emotional. I mean, if you're using 40x leverage, you're automatically emotional because it's just an emotional decision, right? Oh, let me get rich real quick. Anyways, these are just this one's just a warning. It's saying, hey, you're in the middle of a zone and you're trying to close. You're closing your short in the middle of a 2-hour price range. Price could still move in your favor. Consider letting winners run or saying a take profit at the bottom of the range. And you can just be like, you know, the button is psychologically big and nice to click. I usually click it, but you could override this one. There's others that are like adding. There are a couple things you'll see throughout this. It'll be like, nah, you can't add. And if you don't like that, that's fine. You don't have to use the app. You can go straight to your exchange and add if you need to. But that's the point. That's the point for me, at least. And I'm just building bumpers around the problems I had as a hand trader, the problems that were so bad, so emotional, I lost so much money with, that forced me to lock in for 4 hours a day to learn how to code. That's how bad I wanted it. That's how bad I wanted it. 4 hours a day. But it's kind of like big headed of me to think that I can just sit here and show you guys on stream and say, hey, you can go learn how to code and automate your trading too. Maybe you don't have the time. Maybe you don't have the interest to learn how to code, you know? And it is what it is. The data shows me that everybody is using 40x leverage and trading by hand, life savings amounts. Maybe it's working for some people. It doesn't matter if it's working or if it's not. I see people get liquidated all day, every day. I've known of this problem. I was a cohort of this problem a few years back. My solution was to lock in, learn how to code, and automate my trading. But for me to sit here and think that I can just tell you what you should do, who cares what I think you should do? You're going to do whatever you're going to do. You're going to trade with as much leverage as possible. That's fine. Do I think it's the way to go? Of course not. But I'm a data dog. And the data shows me everybody watching you is still using 40x leverage. And you're just talking to the 0.1% that will actually lock in for 4 hours a day and learn how to code and use AI to build bots. You spent 5 years. You've taught them everything you could teach them. Help the other people. So that's what I'm trying to do. Just build an app, and that's this app, Quant app. You can download it, and it puts bumpers around your trading. It helps you take the ideas of other people's trades when they get liquidated. I think liquidations are interesting because that person didn't really want to close that position. So is price right then? I don't know. These are questions you'll have to explore yourself. Again, none of this is financial advice. I can't tell you how to trade, what to trade,
Imagine
none
you
of
had
that.
everything you wanted. Everything. Imagine you were everything you ever wanted to be. And capture that feeling. That's the easiest way to manifest what you want.
But yeah, that's a quick overview of the actions tab here. You can see I can close 10%, 25%, 50%. I really like this as well. Closing for me is just as hard as opening. I'm just as bad. So it's like humans, we just get emotional. You want to keep your profits. This is pretty much like a stop loss, take profit. I didn't even talk about it because I don't like this feature that much. What happens is if I'm in a winning position, which I am in, I can see here, okay, when did I enter? 92077. If I'm scared and I don't want to give back my profits, then I could theoretically just say 92077. Since I'm in a short, if the price goes over this 92077, then I'll close my whole position. This just doesn't work out very well for me. It's like every time I put this in, it's like, dang, you should have just sold when you put that in. But it's a nice feature to have. So you can play around with these. You know, right now, all I can see is add and close. But if you're not in a position, then you'll be able to see open position, buy or sell. If you have any questions, let me know in the Discord. And I'll just keep iterating and making these short videos to keep you up to speed with any changes, ideas, etc. When you do schedule something, if I were to schedule this right now, it would go to the schedules tab. And this is pretty much all your actions here. They get listed on the schedules tab. You can see I have a buy placed here. I have a sell placed here. These are all based off of liquidations. At 89677, how did I get that random price? It was somebody's liquidation price. Same with this 92405. And then you can see I have the close 100% if the price goes over 92071. So yeah, that's an overview of the actions. If you have questions, please let me know.